for Africa, sorry. Well, thank you very much and welcome. Also in our presence here, we also have some people would like to acknowledge their presence. We have the Deputy Minister for Communications, Honorable George Anda. We have Honorable Esiama, who is an MP for Buem constituency. Welcome, sir. And we have with us Mr. Ni, not Mr., but Ni Okwe Kenka Dowuna VI. He is the president of the Osu Traditional Council and president of the Greater Accra Regional House of Chiefs. Well, thank you all very much, and a warm welcome to all our delegates across Africa and the world, and especially to representatives of regional organizations and ITU development sector members. I'd also like to welcome and acknowledge the presence of the media, who without them would not be able to create awareness of ITU and ICT activities in Ghana. You're all very welcome. I'd also want to inform you, and for the benefit of those who are watching on our social media platform, this event is being streamed live on NCA social media platforms, Facebook and YouTube, that this event is being held at the Accra International Conference Center. And once again, it is the Regional Development Forum for the Africa region. So before we go, let me just take you through a quick run of the opening ceremony, which is very brief. We'll have welcome remarks from the Director General of the NCA, Mr. Joe Anoche, and we will have remarks from Mr. Brahima Sanu, and our Minister for Communications, Honorable Esla Osue Kufu, will round it up with a keynote address for us. So we welcome Mr. Joseph Anoche, the Director General of NCA, to please come and give us his welcome remarks. Welcome, sir.
Honorable Minister for Communications and Member of Parliament for Abilikuma West, Mrs. Esla Osue. Honorable Minister for Information, Dr. Mustafa Hamid. Director of BDT, ITU, Mr. Brahima Sanu. ITU Director for Africa, Andrew Regege. Representatives of regional organizations and ITU development sector members hearing present, distinguished participants, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. We are very pleased to welcome you all to Accra to this Regional Development Forum. Thank you for coming. The fact that you all took the time to travel these distances serves to remind us all of just how important such forums are. The African region is represented on the ITU by over 40 African countries, made up of both public and private representations. This speaks to the immense contribution Africa makes in the telecommunication landscape on the global level. The theme for this forum, ICT for SDGs, towards the implementation of WTDC 17, outcomes indicate the relevance of the upcoming discussion on the role telecommunication will play in the implementation of UN 17 SDGs. It is also a clear indication of the growing importance of telecommunication in the economic and social development of member countries. Such forums provide opportunity for comprehensive dialogue among ITU stakeholders, and it is my hope that all participants will take advantage of this time to make the most of this event. It is my hope that we will all grant each other the benefit of learning from our collective experiences as we find ways and means of strengthening the telecommunications sector in our various countries. This forum will also enable us to look into achievements, programs, activities, and other events related to discussions that have taken place regarding the development of ICT in our various countries towards the implementation of the World Telecommunication Development Conference outcomes. We all know that there will certainly be challenges as we move on to achieve our goals. However, that is the reason for such gatherings. Dialogue and share so that we can collectively move the industry in the various countries forward to meet the expectations of our citizenry. On that note, I wish you a hearty Akwaba, which means welcome, and a successful deliberations. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Joe Anochie, for your warm welcome to us. Let me kindly acknowledge Main One. We have internet services here, and these internet services have been provided by Main One Company. And I'm sure you've been seeing the password to be able to access internet services. Thank you very much, Main One. Our next speaker is Mr. Brahim Asanu. He's an ITU director, as I mentioned earlier on, Telecommunications Development Bureau. You're welcome, sir, and we invite you to give us a message from the ITU.
Honorable Mrs. Ursula Owusu Ekuful, Minister of Communication, Ghana. Honorable Mustafa Hamid, Minister for Information, Ghana. Honorable George Anda, Deputy Minister, Mr. Joe Anochie, Director of NCA, National Communication Authority of Ghana, Mr. Andrew Rugege, ITU Regional Director for Africa, representative of the regional organizations and ITU development sectors, all other dignitaries here who honored us with your presence. Thank you very much for joining us. It is an honor for us to have you, and I'm very happy that our traditional chief are joining us. It's very important. This is part of our culture here in Africa. Thank you so much for joining us. Distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, good morning to you. As you can see on my face, it is indeed a great pleasure for me to welcome you all to the Regional Development Forum for Africa. On behalf of all of you, let me express our deepest gratitude to the ministry, and particularly to you, Madam Minister, for hosting this Regional Development Forum and for the warm Akwaba extended to all of us. This is the first Regional Development Forum after the holding of the World Telecommunication Development Conference in Buenos Aires in September 2017. The objective of this forum is to present to you how we, ITU, and particularly the Regional Office for Africa, is intending to implement the outcome of the conference. As you know, this is the most important conference where you get together every 4 years and give direction. Now we have to transform your direction given into action. And I would like to say here we are going to talk more about the regional initiatives. We have 5 regional initiatives for Africa. And since I took office, I always put the regional offices, the regional initiatives at the top of my priorities, because it is through the implementation of the regional initiatives that you can make a difference in the ground. It's not about paper, it's about concrete project we are implementing. It is through also their implementation as we speak about the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals. It is through the implementation of the regional initiatives that we can accelerate digital transformation in other sectors, such as health, education, transport, commerce, and also, just to mention a few. It is also through the implementation of the regional initiatives that we can make our communities smarter. I'm talking about communities smarter, not only the cities, but the communities smarter. Also, we can, through their implementation, empower women, empower youth, and also take care of people with disabilities. Actually, for me, it is through their implementation that we can put a human face on the ICTs. Let us all work to put a human face to the ICTs. Let us stop talking about gigabyte, optical fibers. That just means we are at the turning point of our society today where we have to put a human face to the ICTs. Everybody should be able to use the ICTs to empower him or herself, empower her community, empower our nation. And here we are at the same level as the developed countries. It is up to us to take the challenge and be competitive, or to remain again as just consumers. It is our choice. Our future is in our hands. So let's make it work. I'm happy that the regional initiatives decided for Africa are catering for the really priorities for the region. As all the stakeholders, we need to work together on those regional initiatives. Work together, hands in hand, to make sure that we deliver the expected result. Of course, we need all to be working together. And this Regional Development Forum actually was crafted to be the place where you can interact more directly and based on your priorities. Because when you go to the World Development Conference and big conferences, it's all the world that is gathered. You cannot bring the meeting only to your own concerns and priorities. Now, here we have a Regional Development Forum for Africa, which means that we have time to discuss the priorities for Africa, to discuss the issues for Africa. And I would like you to use this opportunity to interact with the regional director, the colleague from the field who are working with you, to make sure that we really continue to work for you, and for the development of ICTs in the region. During this Regional Development Forum, the regional office will present to you some ideas of projects deriving from the regional initiatives. I'm counting on you to give your feedback to make sure that actually those projects are priority for you within the regional initiatives. I'm happy also that during the meeting of last council, we got some seed money to implement the regional initiatives. I would say thanks to the members of the council from Africa region, and particularly to Ghana, that have been very active as a member of the council. To conclude, I would like again to welcome you all to this Regional Development Forum, and again to express our deepest gratitude to all the dignitaries who joined us here, particularly to Minister Owusu Ekuful and my sister Ursula for honoring this opening ceremony with your presence. You are a role model for all of us. Role model, yes. You are a role model as a minister. You are a role model as a woman. You are a role model just as a citizen of the world. Thank you so much.
Mr. Sanu, thank you for such an inspiring message and encouraging us to put a human face to ICT for empowerment. Our future is in our hands, as you said, and we need to work hand in hand and make sure that it happens. Thank you very much. Before the next speaker, we'll take a brief interlude from our cultural troupe, whose performance here will showcase some of the rhythms of Ghana. So they will showcase some rhythms of Ghana within the next 2 minutes. Thank you very much to our cultural troupe. That was a very energetic and captivating performance. Well, next is the highlight of the opening session or the opening ceremony. And to give the keynote address, as I mentioned early on, is the Honorable Minister for Communications, Honorable Esla Osu Ekufo. She's also the MP for Ablekuma West. In fact, Mr. Ibrahim Asanu took the words out of my mouth. It seemed like he almost read what I was going to say, because she is indeed a role model to a lot of Ghanaians, to women and to young ladies everywhere. She was in Kumasi earlier on this year, where we celebrated the Girls in ICT Work, which was also another ITU event aimed at exposing young girls to ICT and the opportunities it affords. She's also a lawyer and a human rights activist. Ladies and gentlemen, can we welcome with a warm round of applause the Honorable Minister for Communications, Honorable Esla Osu Ekufo.
Thank you, Nana Diffie. Nikinka Duwuna, it's a pleasure to have you and your elders here this morning. The Director of the Telecommunications Development Bureau, BDT, Mr. Ibrahim Sanu, my good friend, thank you for the very kind words you said about me. Honorable Mustafa Hamid, Dr. Sheikh, I think he's my twin brother in cabinet, and always attends our functions, and I'm very pleased to have you here this morning as well. Members of Parliament and members of the Communications Committee who are present here, the ITU Director for Africa, Ms. Andrew Mgege, representatives of the African Union Commission, representatives of the African Telecommunications Union, distinguished delegates, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the President of the Republic of Ghana, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, I'm delighted to welcome you to Accra for the 2018 ITU Africa Regional Development Forum, which is being held under the theme ICTs for SDGs, towards the implementation of the WTDC 17 outcomes. It provides an invaluable opportunity for all of us ITU members across our region to share experiences and our achievements as we work towards strengthening partnerships, enhancing regional integration, and building digital economies to foster innovation in Africa. Interestingly, our President, Nana Akufo-Addo, is the current co-chair of the UN Sustainable Development Goal Advocates Group, and is keenly aware of how vital ICT is for the attainment of all the SDGs. Our theme is therefore apt, and we're grateful to ITU and the BDT for the honor of hosting the 2018 RDF in Accra. The disrupting power of technology is impacting every area of our lives and forcing us to rethink and innovate daily. It is a classic case of adapt or die. We need to build and integrate a resilient broadband infrastructure across the continent, provide the requisite IT knowledge and skills to our people, especially the youth, and position them to take advantage of the opportunities provided by the multi-billion applications and software industry. In 2016, the global digital economy was worth 11.5 trillion, or 15.5% of the world's GDP. And McKinsey estimates that the internet could contribute about 300 billion to Africa's GDP by 2025. With more than 60% of its population under the age of 25, Sub-Saharan Africa is the world's youngest region. And with our dynamic young population, vast natural resources, and untapped internal markets, Africa is uniquely positioned to maximize the unprecedented opportunities the digital revolution offers. We are the last frontier. The emerging technological landscape in Africa is an opportunity to accelerate inclusive growth across the continent exponential technologies such as Internet of Things, IoT, blockchain, artificial intelligence, big data, robotics, and 3D printing are already playing a crucial role in helping Africa address age-old developmental challenges across various sectors, including health, agriculture, education, land administration, financial services, amongst others. As you may recall, at the WTDC, the World Telecoms Development Conference held in Buenos Aires in October 2017, and which Brahima Sanu, our brother, has informed us about, we acknowledge the crucial role of ICTs in accelerating efforts to attain the SDGs. And the same commitment was made earlier this year at the World Summit of the Information Society, WSIS Forum in Geneva. The message that resonated throughout was clear. In a world in which information and communications technologies play an increasingly important role in socioeconomic development, no one should and can or can't be left behind, regardless of their circumstances or the remoteness of their place of origin. A major outcome of WTDC 17 was the ITUD action plan comprising 5 regional initiatives to be implemented by the regional member states. For the Africa region, our initiatives are: 1, building digital economies and fostering innovation in Africa. 2, promotion of emerging broadband technologies. 3, building trust and security in the use of telecoms and ICTs. 4, strengthening human institutional capacity building. And 5, management and monitoring of the radio frequency spectrum and transition to digital broadcasting. To achieve these goals, we need to effectively collaborate in order to fully reap the benefits of the digital transformation for Africa. And this 3-day forum offers an excellent opportunity for technical experts, policymakers, innovators, and investors to deliberate on the implementation of these regional initiatives within the scope of the ITU Rolling Strategic Plan for 2017-2020, and to exchange valuable experiences and best practices as we focus on the opportunities and challenges of the digital world and explore how we can work together to enhance regional integration through digitization. The RDF will be followed by a regional workshop on spectrum monitoring from 23rd to 24th July 2018 for radio communications experts, and we encourage member states to stay on and participate in that as well. As we consider how to collectively strengthen human capacity building and effectively harmonize policy and regulatory frameworks for the integration of our ICT markets, we also recognize the continuing existence of a yawning digital divide, particularly the gender digital divide, with many women still shut out of this digital revolution. We must ensure that technological advances do not further exacerbate inequalities that marginalize women, persons with disability, rural communities, and the elderly. We should deliberately build an inclusive one in which supports an ecosystem to promote equitable access for all. We must also work together to address the risks and challenges the emerging landscape presents, including cybersecurity, privacy, surveillance, child online protection, disruption of the workforce and potential job losses, digital exclusion, e-waste, and carbon emissions. We stand ready to work with the ITU and other regional organizations to implement solutions to all these emerging challenges. As part of the Digital Ghana agenda, we are embarking on an ambitious infrastructure development program with a national broadband infrastructure and connectivity for the unserved and underserved at the heart of the agenda. The introduction of a paperless port operations, integrated e-immigration system, e-procurement, e-parliament, e-justice, e-cabinet, and smart workplaces, among other initiatives, which are all at various stages of implementation, and the development of an interoperability system to integrate government databases, represent significant milestones in Ghana's journey to digitalization. To prepare and build the requisite human capacity to manage this robust infrastructure we are putting in place, we are about to launch a massive IT training project across the country as part of our Universal Access Program. We have to, and we will, upskill our youth. Last year, the government of Ghana, through the Ministry of Communications and Ghana Post, successfully launched the National Digital Property Addressing System, which, with the ongoing national EID registration and mobile money interoperability system, provides the foundation to formalizing our economy. We will be utilizing blockchain technology to digitize our land titling and record system and aggressively roll out e-education and e-health initiatives as well. Technological innovations are driving digital disruption, and Africa can use it to leapfrog the rest of the world to become a mobile-first market. Africa's mobile money market has expanded and diversified in recent years, and sub-Saharan Africa is leading in the adoption and use of mobile technology to enhance financial services and promote financial inclusion. Mobile has emerged as a vital tool to extend key services to underserved communities, complementing the efforts of governments. And by 2020, there will be over 500 million unique mobile subscribers in the African region, and the penetration rate will have risen to 50%, according to the GSMA. Mobile technology's contribution to our GDP is expected to rise to $142 billion, equivalent to 8.6% of Africa's GDP by 2020. Africa must reap the rewards of the digital revolution. Joint action by policymakers, multilateral organizations, and all stakeholders in our vibrant ICT sector is required to realize the full potential and utilize ICTs to achieve the SDGs by 2030. We look forward to working collaboratively on Africa's journey to digitalization and the development of an inclusive society in which everyone can benefit from the power of ICT. I wish you a very warm welcome to Ghana and a productive and enjoyable stay. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam. Can we please give her another round of applause? Honorable Owusu Ekuful has shown her commitment to address the digital divide, especially among the vulnerable within our society, and she's also shown her readiness to work with the ITU and other stakeholders on this. We've now reached the point where we've come to the end of the opening session or the opening ceremony, and we will move to the front of the building for a group photo on the stairs of the main entrance. The coffee break will then follow, and we will reconvene here at 10:30 a.m. for session 1. Before we move outside, may I please thank my dignitaries on the panel. So we will meet here at 11 a.m. for session 1 to start. Let me thank our dignitaries here who came to support us. I'd like to thank Honorable Ekuful, Mr. Ibrahim Asanu, and Mr. Joe Anoche for their wonderful messages, and Mr. Honorable Mustafa Hamid for his support to his twin sister. I'd also like to thank Mr. Andrew Rugege for his support as well. Kindly ensure that you have your personal belongings with you as we move out for the group picture, and do not leave your items unattended. Thank you very much, and it's been a pleasure being with you here this morning. Thank you. Please be upstanding whilst our dignitaries exit the stage. Thank you. So we have ushers who are outside who will usher you to the stairs for the group picture to be taken. Thank you very much.
Dance